So we're going to finish this chapter off by creating a simple FK rig for the teeth and gums so that they'll follow along with the lower and upper jaw, but also allow the animator to scale the teeth up and down so you can increase their length to compensate for certain expressions. Okay, switch to a side view. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a couple of joints starting at the lower jaw joints and just emanating upward. So skeleton joint tool. Activate the point snap. Snap the first joint. Let's try this once again. Point snap. Okay, plop the first joint. And then draw it up. I'm roughly matching the direction of the edges on the tooth. Let's rename this real quick. Okay, now let's create another joint. Once again, holding down point snap. Drawing it upwards. Quickly rename this. Okay. So now, rather than directly parenting these new teeth joints up to the low jaw, I'm going to duplicate these low jaw joints and create an averaging joint so that their rotations will be averaged or multiplied by negative 0.5 so that when we rotate these lower jaw joints, the teeth joints will always keep an average position between them. So I'm going to start by selecting the low jaw 5 joint, which matches where the first low tooth joint is. I'm going to select Edit, Duplicate, submit up our hypergraph. Okay, so I only want these two joints. Quickly unparent them and change their suffix to AVG for average. Okay, now I'm going to parent these low teeth joints to the new averaging joints. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a multiply divide node, one for each of these averaging joints, and connect the rotations of the parent joint into the multiply divide node. Set the input 2's X, Y, and Z channels of the multiply divide node to negative 0.5, which we'll use to multiply or negate by 1/2 the rotations of the parent. And then the output of the multiply divide node will be plugged into the averaging joint. Let's start by, in the script editor, typing in create node, multiply divide, which specifies the type of node we're creating, a -n, so we can give the new node a name, and then give it a name based on our naming convention. Okay, so I'm calling this Cave 01C Low Teeth 01 MD for multiply divide node. I know there's going to be a second low teeth multiply divide node, so I'm going to number each of them. Okay, so with this selected, I know that the default operator for a multiply divide node is multiply, so we can leave it at that. And now with this node selected, let's open up our connection editor. Window, General Editors, Connection Editor. Let's load our multiply divide node into the inputs. Select our jaw 5 joint, load that into the outputs. Connect all the rotates of the jaw 5 joint, the low jaw 5 joint, into the input 1 of the multiply divide node. I'm going to copy and paste this connection since we're going to repeat it. I'm going to select the multiply divide node in the channel box, load that into the outputs of the connection editor, and select our low teeth 1 joint, load that into the inputs of the connection editor, and connect the outputs of the multiply divide node into the rotate channel. Actually, we want to connect that to the average joint. So once again, we're going to connect the output of the low teeth 01 multiply divide node into the rotate channel of the low jaw 5 multiply divide node. Let's capture this in the output of the script editor and copy and paste it down below. We're going to select the multiply divide node and set all of the input 2 channels XYZ to negative 0.5. Once again, copy and paste this in the script editor. I'm going to parent both of the averaging joints to their corresponding low jaw joint. Okay. Now I'm going to repeat this process for the second low jaw joint by just changing the numbers here. So this will be low teeth 02 multiply divide node. Change the jaw 5 to jaw 6. Okay, select all this and hit enter. Now if we rotate this, we can see that we'll always average the rotations of these tooth joints. Okay, so now we're ready to try skinning the low teeth and gum mesh to these new low teeth joints as well as the low jaw joints. So I'm going to select the 3 corresponding low jaw joints, which sort of encompass the length of this teeth and gum geometry, and then select the teeth joints, and then skin, bind, smooth bind. We'll leave our standard options here. Bind to selected joints, the bind method closest distance, and I'm going to set the max influences, I'll leave at 3, and the drop off rate, we'll just leave that at 4. Bind. So here's the default bind. Still go in and rotate this tooth joint. And also scale it down and up. We can change the weighting toward the bottom to lock it to the low jaw joints as well. Okay, so now let's repeat this process for the upper teeth. This time we're going to throw the upper teeth joints from the up jaw 2 as well as the up jaw 3. I'm going to skin it to the up jaw 1, 2, and 3 and not this up lip joint. Or up jaw 1, up jaw 2, up lip 1. Let's start by creating these joints. Holding down point snap. Okay, quickly rename this. Okay, create our second up teeth joint. Rename this. Okay, so now duplicate this up jaw 2 joint so we can get our averaging joints. So I'm hitting Control D to duplicate. Delete all but the 2 joints that we need and change their suffix from J and T to average. Parent the up teeth joints to the averaging joints. I'll parent the averaging joints to the corresponding up jaw and up lip joints. I'm going to use the capture commands in the script editor and just change the naming here. So this will be up teeth 01, change the low to up, okay, and this will be, rather than low jaw 6, up jaw 2. Okay, select this and execute it. Let's test this out real quick. Okay, that's working fine. And change the next one from up teeth to up lip 01. Changing the name of our multiply divide note. And our joint is up lip 01. Okay, let's test this one out. Make sure we made the proper connections. Okay, let's do our skinning. So select the upper teeth and gum geometry. We're going to skin it to the up jaw 1, up jaw 2, up lip 1, as well as the 2 upper teeth joints. Skin, smooth bind, same options as before. Skin, same type of control. We can rotate as well as scale. And of course, these are default weights, so we can go in and adjust those as we see fit. Just just quickly go through this methodology here. So there we have a simple FK teeth rigs. We have full additive rotation control on top of what the jaw and lip joints will give us, as well as some scaling controls. So we can scale the length as well as the width of the teeth. Yeah. And there's translational control as well. And since these are children of a joint that shares the same position, we can always zero out our translation values to get back to their default position. Oh, I made a mistake real quick. Let me correct this. Quickly reskin this. There we go. Okay. As I was saying, because they're direct parents, their parents are directly on top of one another. All of our controls are normalized. So our translate and rotates are at 0, and our scales are at 1. Okay, so a simple FK tooth and gum rig. There's several different ways to do this. I've seen this done with clusters. I've seen it not done at all, so it's just skin to a single jaw joint. But this is a way of getting the flexibility of the upper and lower jaw, as well as a little extra shaping control. So you can go in and do quite a bit with these. Once again, just one way to do it, but fairly straightforward, fairly simple, and because it's using a skin cluster, very fast.